How can a man with a smile as wide as a clown's hide something so sinister? How can a friendly face, one that delighted children at parties, mask the horrors that lurk beneath? Today, we dive into one of the most chilling stories of the 1970s, the case of John Wayne Gacy, the man who became known as the Killer Clown. Welcome to True Stories. In this episode, we're uncovering the terrifying tale of John Wayne Gacy, a man whose gruesome actions shocked the world. How did he hide his dark side for so long, and what finally brought his reign of terror to an end? Let's get into it. Born in Chicago in 1942, Gacy seemed like a regular guy. Sure, his childhood wasn't easy. His father was abusive, and Gacy struggled with his identity. But nothing about him screamed monster. As he grew older, Gacy appeared to fit into society perfectly. He became a successful businessman, ran a construction company, and was even involved in local politics. He was married and had kids. But beneath the surface, darkness was brewing. By the time he reached his 30s, Gacy's darker side had already shown itself. In 1968, he was convicted of sexually assaulting two teenage boys. But after only 18 months in prison, he was released on parole. And this, tragically, was just the beginning of what would become a nightmare for many young men. Between 1972 and 1978, Gacy lured young men and teenage boys to his home with promises of work, money, or just a good time. Once inside, Gacy's charming smile vanished, replaced by cruelty. He would handcuff them as part of a magic trick, then torture and strangle them. But the most horrifying part? Gacy buried 26 of his victims beneath the floorboards of his own home. He hid the bodies just beneath the surface, while continuing to live his double life as a respectable member of society. By day, he attended community events and even dressed up as Pogo the Clown for charity. But by night, his house became a place of unimaginable horror. Gacy's reign of terror might have continued if not for a crucial mistake. In 1978, a 15-year-old boy named Robert Peast disappeared after last being seen with Gacy. This time, police were determined to get to the bottom of things. They searched Gacy's home, and what they found was worse than anyone could have imagined. Human remains buried in the crawl space, along with horrific evidence of torture. When the police finally confronted Gacy, he confessed to killing 33 young men and boys. His house became known as a house of horrors, as investigators unearthed the bodies of his victims. The discovery shocked not only the community but the entire world. In 1980, John Wayne Gacy stood trial for his crimes. The defense tried to argue that he was insane, but the jury wasn't convinced. Gacy was found guilty of 33 murders and was sentenced to death. He would spend 14 years on death row before his execution in 1994. Even as he awaited his execution, Gacy showed little remorse for the lives he had destroyed. In fact, his final words, before being put to death by lethal injection, were chillingly indifferent. "Kiss my ass." John Wayne Gacy's name is now infamous, etched into the history of American crime. His case still haunts investigators, criminologists, and the families of his victims. The Killer Clown remains one of the most terrifying examples of how evil can hide in plain sight. How could someone so outwardly friendly, so seemingly normal, commit such horrors? It's a question that will continue to haunt us for years to come. With that said, thanks for watching. Until next time, welcome to True Stories. And don't forget to subscribe for more gripping tales from the darkest corners of history.